This is the 8th consecutive year that the PBA has been here in Medford, Oregon. Another strong crowd as always, and we flash back to the year 1974. And the man this tournament is named after, late great Earl Anthony. This in the Tournament of Champions, his first TOC win there in Fairlawn, Ohio, as he took down Johnny Petragula 216 to 213. And all season long, we have been counting down the 50 greatest bowlers in PBA history, and we're going to refresh you throughout our broadcast today. There's 50 through 40, a tie at 40 between Baker and Berardi.
Bob Strampy, Mika Koivuniemi, the great Barry Asher, Johnny Gunther. I remember watching him growing up as a kid.
I want to remind you, next week we are in Las Vegas, where we are potentially going to see history be made as Norm Duke looks for an unprecedented 4th consecutive majors title. Again, live coverage of that one next Sunday at 12:30 Eastern on ESPN, a special time 12:30. And number 9 on the all-time 50 greatest bowlers list is joining us right now here. Marshall Holman, thanks for having us here. And the big debate is going to be who is number 1, Earl Anthony, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Who was it in your book?
Well, I bowled with both of them, and you know, Earl had such a great career in a condensed time period that overshadows a little bit of what Walter's done, but Walter has transcended different eras as far as bowling is concerned. I give the nod to Walter, but it's awfully close. You can make a case for either one of them.
It'll be a continuing debate next week in Vegas, where we'll see you again at the big gala dinner.
Looking forward to it.
And we are set for match number 2. There is Bill O'Neill to take on the big nasty Wes Malott. Marshall Holman joining us live in the booth for this segment. And Malott has been really on a tear this season. Marshall, what have you seen from his game?
Well, I call him Strike a Lot Malott, because he's got an incredible confidence and a great role that just enables him to bowl great week after week after week. And I'll tell you, if you think you're really, really, really good like Wes Malott does, then you've got it made.
Strike a lot, Malott. I'm writing that down right now. That's good. Let me force another thing on the bowling fans out there, just to make more friends.
This guy's been striking a bit this season as well. Bill O'Neill just having a dream season. This is his 5th telecast.
Yeah, yet to win, but boy, certainly has the game to do it. Look at that if I go long. And, you know, I bowled in this tournament this week, Randy, and I left a lot of shots off my hand that felt pretty good, and they just sailed that extra 10 feet down the lane. You leave the 2, the 4, the 7, or the 10 just like that, and, you know, what seems like a pretty good shot is probably going to turn into an open frame.
Yeah, it didn't take a lot. A little left or right of your break point down the lane, and you look at a 2-4-10 or a big 4.
And an open frame to start off match number 2 for O'Neill, who is still in search of his first ever Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour title. And Wes Malott off to a strong start in match 1, ditto here in match 2, and ditto to the fact that his competitor is not exactly hustling out of the gates.
Yeah, and I can tell you from experience, I went through a period from 1981 to 1983 of about a little over 2 years where I made a lot of telecasts and I couldn't win any games. It gets inside your brain.
What advice would you give Bill?
Well, he needs to just flush all the demons out and concentrate in the moment. You know, don't just forget about what was and concentrate on the next shot he's throwing. It sounds very simplistic, but it's difficult to do.
We talked to him about that last week and this week and weeks prior. And last week in Reno, he was telling us, you know what, I'm going in calmer. You know, this is good. I have to bowl out of the 5 hole, so I don't have to sit there and do the practice in the background. I don't have it looming in my head. I can get out there and what does he do? He goes and loses match number 1. So he's at the point, I think, where he's kind of trying anything.
Well, I'm sure.
Because they have to try awfully hard today to get by the defending champ, Wes Malott, who opens up with back-to-back jacks again.
Yeah, Wes is just so much fun to watch. He's a big, strong man that doesn't have to force anything, and he gets so much power. When I was bowling, I had to really work for everything I could get to make my ball powerful. But boy, for Wes, he makes it look awfully easy, and that's a very calm and determined, confident young man.
Opening 3-bagger to start match number 2. He opened up with 4 in a row in match 1.
He's got a very unique style, Marshall. If you watch his hand position in slow motion, how it gets to the inside part of the bowling ball, if you were to take that ball and draw a line right down the middle of it, he gets to the inside part of that equator and just kind of flips his hand around it real quick. And with that figure-8 swing, it almost looks like it's impossible for him to pull the ball left.
Yeah, it's very unique, and it certainly he's proving that it does work. There you go, Bill. Big shot for O'Neill. He's got to make a statement here early. Don't let Malott get too big a lead. So great shot in the second and third. He says, hey, Wes, I'm still here.
This is the second consecutive singles telecast that Bill O'Neill has made. He made 3 in a row earlier this season, but he has gone 71 career events without a title, the 9th longest streak. Down 21 early as we begin the 4th. And Marshall Holman, we want to thank you for joining us live, and glad you were here all week. It's always good to see you.
Hey, it's a pleasure. I'm looking forward to the big gala party next week down in Vegas.
Save your energy. It's going to be a good week. Bill O'Neill strikes to send Marshall out. We appreciate your time. And the conclusion of O'Neill Malott when we return to our live coverage of the Bear Earl Anthony Medford Classic.